All right, it's 2 minutes past and we will begin. Thank you very much for spending the next half an hour to 45 minutes with us. I sincerely appreciate that. We are going to discuss how AI is helping machinery manufacturers and machinery business transform the service lifecycle through the lifetime of that equipment. So that is the focus of the webinar today. I am Achint Varya. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Industriality, and I'm one of the founders at Industriality. And I have with me today Jinesh, who is the CEO and the technology expert, and we'll cover a lot of live demos with real use cases of AI in machinery business and how it's transforming service lifecycle. Jinesh, do you want to say hello?
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and very excited to have you all in our Think Outside the Machine webinar series. We are going to, this webinar is packed with amazing content as well as, some real insights about how you can apply AI to your specific industry. So, thank you very much for joining.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jinesh. And please feel free to ask questions throughout the webinar. Put your questions in the chat box. We'll do our best to cover them towards the end or through as we go through the webinar today. And yes, so Industriality is, we've been operating for more than 6 years with clients across various industries, and we are built and partnered with AWS from a technology perspective and have a very secure and modern technology stack. The founders of Industriality come from, Rolls-Royce, Honeywell, AWS, Hitachi, and so we have a lot of industry experience and technology expertise, which we are packing and helping machinery manufacturers really make more money in the after sales and serve your customers better. That is the purpose with which we've established the company and successfully growing very, 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 very fast. Now, AI is everywhere, and it is having the same profound impact on humanity and human society as electricity had, and as computing had, and as internet had. Electricity, brought light and light bulbs, and that impact that it had on education and healthcare, it was profound. And then we moved to the next revolution, which is of computing, with calculators and systems and machine which could compute large amounts of data, and the efficiency it created on humans. And then came internet. Internet connected the whole world with information, with knowledge, with getting people closer to each other. It had a phenomenal, profound impact on how people connected with each other and the efficiencies it created. So all technology solutions at the heart of it creates better outcomes, cheaper outcomes, and more efficiency. Right? That is the purpose of technology. I think AI is going to be even more transformational, if not as transformational as electricity. Um, some of the biggest names in the industry, like Jeff Bezos, he spends 95% of his time on AI. CEO of Nvidia recently said in an interview, AI is not going to replace people. People who are going to use AI are going to replace people. And so this profound impact, AI is going to be everywhere. It's going to help us solve problems that we have not been able to solve. The IQ of an AI is, greater than an average human, above 150. And so we are here to bring AI. Industriality is here to bring AI to the industrial world and to the machinery business. However, it's not easy. A lot of the manufacturers who are trying to adopt AI, it's not easy for them. They have similar challenges. Data is dispersed in a lot of places. Integration is a challenge, and all manufacturers are trying to improve the efficiencies of their operation and improve the asset uptime. But data quality and integration is a challenge. The other challenge that almost all manufacturers are facing is the aging workforce and the skill gap that is present in most of the manufacturers. And industrial sector in particular has been under investing into technology for many years. And today, I think it's a amazing time to be in this AI space where AI can really revolutionize how they're able to serve their customers, improve customer satisfaction, and reduce risks from environmental perspective, and also reduce operational risks. So that is what Industrity is all about, and that is what we bring on the table. So don't let after sales or service be an afterthought. If I'm meeting a lot of CEOs recently. I met a CEO of a plastic manufacturing company, a $500 million plastic manufacturing company, and he said, I have bought machines, and the service from the manufacturers was atrocious, and so there's a that meant that they bought their spares from someone else. They got it serviced from a local rep instead of the manufacturer because their response times were too long. The service contracts are with a different company because they serve them much better. And so all of those revenues and high margin profit that they could have made, the manufacturer could have made, that is lost to their competition. And then manufacturers, in an effort to save that, they have these band-aid solutions like an Excel solution or something built in-house. Or we were speaking to another one of our another prospects, and they said, "Hey, we are going to triple our spare parts business, and in order to do that, we are going to throw 50 more people." And that, if that is the mindset of a lot of manufacturers, where after sales is an afterthought, you can keep adding more business, sell more machines, but if you're leaking more and more business, the profitability of the business will not go high. And that is what we are focused on. Industry is laser focused on helping manufacturers focus on service, improve customer outcomes, and make more money in parts and service. So with today's theme of service lifecycle management, let's let's look at what a service lifecycle looks like. Like a customer is buying a new machine, year one, they'll interact with the machinery manufacturer for installation and commissioning. The life cycle of that machine is 29 years, and there are various touch points which are significant, which what I would call as significant touch points where they'll connect with the manufacturer. Typically, at an end of a warranty period, end of an extended warranty, repairs, upgrades, and modernization. And at various touch points, depending on the type of service that they receive from the manufacturer, they'll be either frustrated with the manufacturer or they'll be delighted by the manufacturer. And so those are the various touch points, which are mundane tasks of parts lookup, of writing service reports, of managing the phone calls. All of those mundane tasks are really the opportunities where AI can have a significant impact on improving those tasks. We will cover three examples today, and Jinesh will show a demo of how those can be brought to life. But let me touch upon those in just a second. A few of those are, customers are today expecting personalized training for their customized machinery. I have a Dyson vacuum cleaner. I get extremely customized proactive reports and proactive alerts in terms of how I should manage a simple machine like those. Consumable subscription. Why do I have to remember when to order the oil and when to order the filter? All of that consumables are subscribed and automatically gets delivered. I don't have to keep stock, and they are available to me. Dealers, who are usually the intermediary when servicing these machines, manufacturers need to make it simpler for the dealers to identify the parts, order the parts, and AI can play a huge role in doing that. And we'll cover on a couple of real examples today in the demo. Inspection reports. We come across a lot of service teams where they do a 4 5 hour inspection on a plant, which again it takes a long time, but 1 hour is spent on value added task, which is on testing and taking readings. The rest of the time is taken in compiling all of those photos, compiling all the reports, and all of that can be you know completely automated with AI. And I met with a $5 billion company last week, and they said they have completely automated that. And instead of two team and 4 hours, it takes them one person and 1 hour to completely automate that whole inspection process. Finally, as you go through that service life cycle, you'll have customers who are managing the services themselves. They want to order the parts themselves. Why do they have to sit through endless phone calls and going back and forth and reviewing an e-shop with 1.5 million parts to find the right part that they need? They should have a very personalized parts e-commerce which is built for them. Finally, I think AI and IoT, that can be a game changer when it comes to proactive repair recommendations, and we'll cover that in a sec in a demo. And then with I'm sure everyone is using ChatGPT or different versions of AI co-pilots in your daily life. We are now bringing machinery copilot. So for that machinery that you have in front of you, you can ask questions in natural language and help you resolve issues, troubleshoot issues, and find information quickly. And then finally, this is the age of AI agents, where you don't even have to prompt what needs doing. The agent can work behind the scenes and take all of this data, and then based on that data, make recommendations to you to make the right actions. So all of that. So you can notice throughout the life cycle of that equipment, which is the next 29 years, as we like to call it, there are so many of those touch points where you have the opportunity to either frustrate your customers by letting them find information doing that go back and forth, or really delight the customers. And this is now not just about service. The customer who is delighted by the best service, they are going to buy the next new machine from you. And so it's your opportunity to really delight the customers and serve them with what they deserve. So that is what Industry D brings on the table. We take all of your enterprise data, from ERP, PLM, CAD, etc. We create a digital twin. We provide a white labeled platform with your brand, which you can get started in a few days, and you really have the opportunity to serve yourself as a manufacturer to build efficiency and build customer loyalty, to serve your distributors, your representatives, and your service technicians to build efficiency and productivity, and really serve your customers to deliver peace of mind and keeping them connected throughout the lifetime of the next 29 years. And so with that, I would like to bring Jinesh to show you a quick demo of Industriality and how AI is really helping you serve and improve the service lifecycle of your equipment. Jinesh, with that, I would like to bring you on.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Achin, for laying the stage. And really excited. I'm really excited about this opportunity where we get to apply AI to your specific business context. AI has a lot of hype, but this particular technology or paradigm, as Achin mentioned, is as big as electricity, internet, and others. We feel that it will change everything, as well as everything will have AI. At the same time, everything will be improved by AI, and everything will be in no AI will be in everything. So this is a simple
Jinesh, you might want to share your screen.
yes. So with that in mind, we want to really focus on how is it applying to your particular business. After sales, aftermarket is an afterthought for many people, many manufacturers. However, when you think about you know how it can offer hyper personalization to your particular customers for their specific assets. It will change their perspective. Imagine a scenario where a manufacturer has hundreds and thousands of installed base assets. This machine manufacturer has been around for number of years. Each machine that they build, such as a chiller or a boiler or a burner, they have they're highly reliable. They stay there for almost 30, 50 years, as Achint was showing you the overall life cycle. We have opportunity and different touch points to make money and save money for our customers, as well as make it extremely delightful, and so they stay with your customer base. What that particular manufacturer has, as several service technicians out there in the field, or there are distributors out there on the field who are helping the end owner operators as well. So imagine a scenario where a service technician is on a rooftop of a customized chiller that is installed on a casino or a hospital or a hotel, and and something goes wrong, or they need to find some information at their fingertips to understand what that is. Today, what customers see is that they see hundreds and thousands of parts, and they go on the internet, try to figure out which particular part number they have. They try to, if nothing happens, they are essentially try to find a phone hotline, or a phone call and do a phone call to understand how they will connect with them, and they explain that this is the part I need and this is the model. But the problem also in this is, once the part arrives, maybe it does not fit, and it has to be returned. So it's so many different things that happen when they have so many different parts associated with their particular assets. However, what the service technician really needs is just they need those two specific parts, and AI can help hyper personalize that experience for the asset that for the customer that they on, or whether it's the owner operator who wants to do this as well. So this is the opportunity for AI to normalize all this data, cut all this data silos that exist in the industry, and manufacturers can provide an experience, a digital experience, which will be unique as well. So with that, imagine there is a scenario where he logs into that. He does not have to worry about, he gets a customized experience around it, about their particular asset that they have in place. They have three chillers in their basement, or through two in their two rooftop units. We'll go into a particular asset in there. They will be able to see all asset data about that particular asset. They will be able to see their information, sensor values, timeline, what has happened with that particular asset over a period of time, and most importantly, what does that parts technician, or the service technician will be doing as a part of that whole experience. So now they will be able to go in, you know quickly, identify and see all the BOM which is specific, or the bill of material, or the SBOM, or the service BOM associated with that particular asset. They will be able to see a simple AI agent right now can look at the data that is associated with that machine, and put a timer on, and with a timer or a alert on it, saying this particular part is actually expired while I'm on the field. I also need to order these as well. At the same time, he can do all of these before he goes to that visit as well. So that's also saving time, and saving a particular visit as well. But most importantly, identifying that particular part. I want to identify a valve, or I want to identify a particular area. So they can easily go in and identify a particular part, not have to fiddle around with hundreds and thousands of documents or hundreds and thousands of parts, and they can quickly go in and select a particular part that they need and check out that particular environment instead of going to thousands of parts across their entire model series. They will be able to see that particular part associated with their asset, and hyper personalization changes everything. So this is one of the cool elements about it, that with data, you don't have to inundate your customers with all the information that they don't need to see. You only see, the parts that they parts and the service associated with the asset that they have purchased. And by making this asset centric, we leverage all this very effectively for the customer. So we increase their spare parts usage, as well as we will increase your consumables usage, because it's now extremely easy for the customer to buy that part. And it is like an Amazon Prime experience. If you make it easy, they will continue to come to you to buy parts, and they get the benefit of not having to buy a wrong part, as well as you get the benefit of making things very easy for them to buy, and they will come back to you. So this is one of the core elements of making things hyper now personalized. The second demo, which I would like to focus on, is really around the knowledge base. If you think about a particular asset today, asset has so many different, or an equipment in the field, they have so many different data associated with it. There is 500, 700 page documents that are related to installation and commissioning and service manuals. They have, of course, parts, and they have all these different P&ID diagrams, especially for made to order types of assets, which are very custom built. There are an unbelievable amount of documentation, parts manuals and service manuals available that are specific to that particular assets, electrical, structural, mechanical documents. And ingesting all of these and making sense of it is very difficult for a human to do. So why can't we have all these documents read by the AI, and make it easy for them, for the end owner operator, in-house crew, or even the service technicians to out there on the field to troubleshoot in natural language within minutes. So let's see that in action. So same example, when I go back and I'm on a particular, we have ability to see all the information associated for that asset. They can simply go in and chat with that machine in real time, based on all the different data sources that you have seen: information, documents, parts, services, sensor values, and so forth. In this scenario, let's take an example that I was seeing earlier, that that a particular the discharge temperature was too low, or the filter was clogged, or the machine was broken or something. They can chat with the machine what is happening behind the scenes. We have synthesized all the different documents that are static documents. We have looked at sensor values. We are looking at parts manuals, as well as the parts BOM, and we are feeding that data to a natural language engine that will give very specific information about that particular asset in there. And you can also find out things like we found out that, hey, discharge temperature was too low and they need to change the sensing tube, because that's what the knowledge of the worker is. You will be able to identify the right part. It completely changes the game, and you go back to the 3D version, identify that the right part, and get that information right in their fingertips, right on the and this proves that anything that you want to do associated with, let's say, an alarm code was there. So what is the alarm code ALM 203, no, 201 mean? If it's a junior technician out there on the field who does not know, And in this industry, as you know, it's a lot of aging workforce. The new guys are junior. They don't know what's out there on the field. They learn on the field sometimes, and the senior guys they are extremely with high experience. They know what to do. Imagine if you can offer these types of experiences to the junior technicians so that they can learn all these no while they are all on the field and interact with the machine, its data model, in a more interesting ways. We call this the operational digital twin. You're creating the digital twin of this particular machine and providing all data. Now what happened with this is, there's a 500-page document which includes all the tribal knowledge as well as structural knowledge, um, of that particular asset. And in this case, the AI looked at which alarm code was coming. It was related to sensor faults entering chilled water, and it will tell you and understand the language. And a lot of engineering has gone behind this to make this simple and easy. Whether he is in and ask that question in natural language, but also if the technician want to speak in Spanish, they can speak that in Spanish as well, or they want to see an image of a particular asset, I'd go back to the 3D version to ensure all of comes in an interactive experience overall. So this shows how the application can be, how AI can be used within your context. It at every single point that Achin brought earlier in a way, right? The other use case which I see all the time, which is related to IoT and parts. So we get more and more machines are getting connected, although they are not connected throughout the life, for their entire install base. The percentage is pretty small, but the generally speaking, everything will be connected over a period of time. What if you have an opportunity to look at those alerts, and our AI understands, that this discharge temperature, was lower, what action they need to take after that alert has happened. And this is a pretty important piece. Just getting a noisy alert is not going to solve that problem, or the uptime of that particular chiller. You want to know a parts recommendation, which parts needs to buy, what needs to be done. So we analyze this data, we do an anomaly detection, we focus on when this asset alert was available, and you would be able to see in sort of real time, which date this alert happened, as well as what are the processes that you need to make. So in this case, the temperature was discharge temperature was too high. I need to go back in time and see that data, and correlate with other sensor values. You would be able to see very easily that all the different sensor values are available. Discharge temperature was high, and the alert was generated. It creates that level of visibility for that customer, and you see a parts recommendation for that particular element as well. So it will give you an information about that customer, that chiller, that part they need to buy, and go ahead with that view. So this is something very important for the customer to understand, that now your troubleshooting becomes extremely easy, and they'll be able to get information at their fingertips, increasing their efficiency as well as productivity while they are out there on the field. This has completely changed our thought process when it comes from after sales, aftermarket, perspective. But what we are seeing now is even more bigger. As Achin mentioned a little bit about what AI agents are. AI agents, think about it in a simple terms, is you know a computer program which is specific to a particular task, um, and has all the context behind that task, as well as it has the reasoning to interact with in the real world. So think of in a simple terms also, a very smart intern is sitting side by, no, by beside you and doing all the task while he or she are learning, that in and making doing these tasks on your behalf. This has completely changed. We feel all the things that we are seeing right now as those mundane tasks that are repetitive in nature, trying to find the right part number for that part, or trying to find the alarm code information, or trying to schedule a particular technician because when the technician is not available, or no ability for them to these things are for their unplanned downtime. You don't need to be there as a human. Or AR agent can act on your behalf, and build these smart agents will be always available. They never get tired. They are working on your behalf, and they are much more capable from continuous learning and evolving. So we feel AI agents will be everywhere. There will be different types of AI agents that are built for specific purposes. With that in mind, we want to really share our entire vision of how AI can be applied to your entire service lifecycle and reduce your timelines and saving side of the fence. So let's take a look at how this will change and what type of services industriality offers in this context, so that you have the right intern sort of working for you for that specific task for your customer, while you are you're focusing on the important elements in there. So on the base of it, we have a core platform, secure, with SOC 2 compliance. We are built on AWS cloud, and very proud of the information architecture as well as the normal the flow architecture that makes this highly performant and scalable. At the center of this, we have we as we focused on, we have asset centric data. You don't need to have a persona centric model. You don't need to have departmental silos like warranty and service and so forth. You focus on your serial number of that asset and all the data associated with that, such as your BOM, customer, 3D drawings, all available. And we have a powerful AI engine which ingests this data, from your existing systems to provide that level of normalization in there. On top of it, we have series of different APIs which essentially exposes the data for your customers, for your asset. And then we have built a series of modular apps that connect with your existing third party software, whether it's your ERP or PLM, etc., to ensure that they have the right user experience and also a consistent user experience, whether it is trying to find the right part, or scanning a QR code to get data out. This enables us, and that is what we have built in the for several of our customers. And now starting to build this entire element is the series of AI agents that will wrap around these APIs and apps, that gives the customer the benefit to interact with with our platform, with your data, and with in natural language, and do reasoning on it. So a parts tech agent, for example, will be able to recommend a particular part, or service technician can recommend a particular service that is due, or and also schedule this your visit as well, while you have to not worry about it. Or a forecasting inventory agent can say this particular availability, this particular part is not available at a given point. So you better order it now so it is available with the right lead time in there, and so forth. And these are ways in which we enable the manufacturer to be more closer to the customer and leverage that relationship throughout the lifetime of this equipment, and make a better choice of providing a differentiated offering to your customers in a very sophisticated way, by at the same time being ready for the future as well. So with that in mind, I would like to bring back Achint to close this. But we love to get your feedback as well as how you are using AI in your current field, and if you have think about it industriality as your partner to help you disambiguate this hype around AI and how it can apply to your specific context. Achint?
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jinesh. And before I begin, I would like to apologize to everyone. Apologize, we missed to start the meeting. So you actually missed the whole setup. I think Jinesh referenced quite a few times that, I mentioned all of these things in the setup. But we missed starting the meeting. So I think we need an AI of our own to manage our webinar. Um, but with that, let me briefly cover some of that setup, and then in the meantime, if you can please, I think what you saw was the most important part of our webinar, which is a live demo. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Jinesh, for sharing some of those live demos. I think that was very great, very good. So if you can please put your questions in the chat box. And in the meantime, I'll just briefly cover, what I mentioned in the setup, right? So I think a lot of manufacturers are losing a lot of their revenue and a lot of their profit, and they are putting a lot of money is left on the table. And what a lot of them are focused on is, putting more water into the bucket, selling more machines. That's what they are focused on. And after sales or service, if that's an afterthought, you're losing money to counterfeit spares. They're losing money to local service reps. They're losing money to other contractors. And there are lots of band-aid solutions and internal development that are happening, which costs a lot to manage. And as soon as you put more business in, those will start leaking. And so really there needs to be a well-rounded thought around service lifecycle and managing that complete service lifecycle. And the reason that is the case is because service should be the top priority, where a customer is buying a machine for the next 29 years. They are they are servicing, the manufacturers should want to service the machine, because the longer they are connected to the customer, the more profit, the more revenue they can make. And after sales parts and service revenue is between 35 to 120% margin, whereas equipment sales is between 10 and 20% margin. So that's where, for at least the customized and heavy machinery, the majority of the profit lies. I'm preaching to the converted. You all know that. But there are lots of these touch points where you have two options: either to frustrate your customer, which could be the dealer, the rep, the service technician, or your owner operator, where they are expecting personalized training, personalized service. Parts ordering cannot take 4 to 8 hours. It has to be done in a few minutes. Report generation, very hyper personalized parts. Why do they have to go through an e-commerce with 2 million parts, whereas they have one machinery with one model and they should be able to find parts in a couple of seconds? What about IoT based repair recommendation? A co-pilot for machinery, where you can ask questions to your machinery in natural language. All of those are really opportunities for you to delight your customers and not frustrate them. And if you are able to do all of those things, then when the time comes for the customer to buy the next machine, most certainly they'll buy that machine from you. Whereas if you frustrated your customers at every of each of those touch points, service is really what drives the customer to buy, to purchase the next machine. And so we really believe that AI is going to be everywhere. It is going to be as profound as as the advent of electricity or the internet, or computing. And you know the leaders like Jeff Bezos spends 95% of his time on AI projects, and AI is going to impact every aspect of business, be it marketing, be it finance, legal, pharmaceutical. Every part of the business is being impacted by AI, and we are at the forefront on industrial and machinery, and we want to bring AI to industrial and machinery space. Um, one of our customers, in said, industry, we've helped them uh, manual and paper-based industries and transforming an industry which is, generally a technology laggard and bringing them into the future. So please get your questions coming. Jinesh and I would be more than happy to address them. But the way to engage with us, we keep it very simple. Some of these projects, there is a perception that, you know, data is not available. These kind of projects cost millions of dollars and takes far too long. We have a great framework already built, a full suite of applications servicing the service lifecycle management. And so we are able to onboard and service our customers very, very quickly. So if this is of interest, we would be more than happy and we'd be delighted to have a conversation with you guys. So please reach out to us. And with that, I would like to open up for questions. Jinesh, are there any questions in the chat that we should that you'd like to take on?
Yes. Yeah. So there were two questions that came up. One was, you know, uh, our data is not prepared or not ready. What do we do? What do we do to take advantage of this AI and leap forward essentially from the competition? And so this is a very fair question and very important question, right? The data is siloed, data is available in different disparate sources. The elements are not unique. In sometimes they are duplicates in different types of data points, and AI can only work better if your data is better. And so as a first step towards building this, we focus primarily on trying to ensure that your data quality increases. We normalize this data into a asset centric approach for your serial numbers, specific site, and associate all the data associated with one particular pivot. This enables us to essentially become more personalized towards your assets and make and do that at scale. We have specific scripts as well as specific engines that detect the right level of data completeness, data quality, as well as ensure that the data that you would like to bring onto the AI side is correct. So we'll bring you through
So,
and we'll
so
focus
Jinesh,
on that.
there's another question from Roger here,
Yeah.
where the state of the art usable, data, what tools do we have, and can you give us some examples on, I think two jump in mind, but if you can enrich that, one is we've taken handwritten data, paper-based data, and then made it available. Maybe you can talk about that story. And the second story, is about IoT data, which was collected for almost 5 years but never utilized, and so it was collected just for the sake of collecting, whereas not from a perspective of how it can be used. If you can talk about those two examples, I think that would give a great explanation
Yeah.
of how we are the tools we are using and the techniques we are using to bring industrial data to make it usable for AI.
Absolutely. So it's a great question, Roger. So we have, as machines are more reliable and they are there for 30 years or 50 years, as you said, long-lasting machinery. The data that we had initially built might not be available, or if it's available, it's not in the right format. So we have, in this particular case, for one of the large construction machinery customer, the data was handwritten for the last 30 years of it was 30 years ago, a plant or several plants where they had to associate associate the part numbers were actually reliable or but were the same ones or not. So our engine, we have an engine what we call Soul GPT, which essentially scans your current PDFs. No, it could be handwritten, it could be structured, it could be in an Excel sheet, or it could be in your BLM. We take that data, we normalize that data. We have a cleansing engine which essentially cleanses your data, deduplicates this, ensures that the completeness is there, and creates back that hierarchy that is needed for the age old plant. And then we ingest it in our platform. So poor quality data is there everywhere in the industry. However, the way we have done this is to ensure that the newer data models for the newer assets also compare to the older assets, and then they are normalized in putting in. And we walk people through that whole exercise of transforming, in there. For the IoT specific things, there were, one of the customers have 40,000 machines connected with IoT sensor values getting sent every 15 minutes to the cloud. However, this is structured information. So we take structured information and unstructured data to help the customer for that particular business outcome. And so in this scenario, we had to deduplicate structured information, pass that back into a sort of a SQL engine, and also understand that level of the context around it, and bring that back into the customer base as well. So that was one of the most important projects. We felt that it provided value to the IoT customers as well as the unstructured data from manuals and
That's
handwritten
great.
side.
That's great. Thank you so much, Dinesh. I see there's another question from Spencer. In your experience, what are the top three drivers of why your customers put in these systems, and what are the tangible benefits that they see from the system install? So maybe I can take a stab at it, and then you can add to that. So thank you, Spencer, for that question. I think the top three the top three sort of tangible benefits. One is internal efficiency. So we can drive between 50 to 90% of internal efficiency when it comes to servicing the customers and on-time code delivery to customers. That is super important because, like the early bird catches the worm. The people who can quote the fastest to their customers, usually they get the business. So that's one, internal efficiency. Second is customer experience, customer service and delivering peace of mind. Again, that has a direct impact on buying the machine, and it has a direct impact on increasing after sales revenue and profitability. So I think those two are critical. And the third is faster time to market. I have time and again seen many manufacturers build these things ground up. It takes anywhere from $4 to $10 million minimum to upwards of $100 million, where they've spent money to build this over 3 to 5 years, which we are able to deliver in under 6 months. And so that time to market and to serve that customer, that has been a big benefit when it comes to manufacturers.